as you sit or stand, or drift between those places, that aren't quite one or the other. Perhaps you've already begun to remember something you haven't yet learned. And maybe, just maybe, what you forgot to forget was the very beginning of remembering how energy lives in you, moves through you, is you. And all the things you thought you have to try to learn, begin learning you. Because when energy becomes you, and you become energy, the mind has no choice but to follow the flow. Now, have you ever noticed some people just seem to shine? They walk into a room and the space rearranges itself to fit their presence. It's not because they try, it's because they've remembered the simple truth. Energy flows where attention goes, and what you focus on grows. So let me tell you a story, not a story you've heard, but one you've always known. A story about someone who once believed they were ordinary. They woke up, looked in the mirror, saw a face, and forgot to see the light behind it. But something changed, not all at once, not suddenly, but like the so swell of breath just before a breakthrough. They whispered, "I awaken my energy. I am energy. I feel my energy. I use my energy. I transmute my energy. I channel my energy. I control my energy. I increase my energy." And what happens when you say that? Not with your lips, but with your cells. Because your body has been listening all along, just like now. And as you begin to listen more deeply, you realize you don't need to understand everything for everything to work through you. You don't need to force energy. When you become the path of least resistance, you breathe in, and with that breath comes clarity. You exhale, and with that breath goes the past. And the mind asks, "What now?" And the heart answers, "Now." What if every cell in your body was tuning itself, retuning itself, aligning itself to a deeper rhythm, one that hums, "I'm enough, I'm vibrant, I'm in control, I connect, I'm rising." And you may already be noticing the pull, that magnetic pulse, that deep primal sense of rightness that comes from operating in your highest frequency. Because something strange happens when you choose to believe that your energy is abundant, limitless, and completely under your command. The world responds, like a mirror rearranging its light. Reality reflects your belief back, more vividly, more powerfully, more inevitably than ever before. Have you ever seen how a candle lights another and loses nothing of its own flame? That's what happens when you embody vitality. You radiate it, you amplify it. You're the spark. Others feel it. They respond, not to your words, but to your being. When the world responds to your state, you realize the truth hidden in every breath. You're not chasing energy, you're choosing it. Let's consider this just for a moment, or 1,000. When you move your body, you activate your life. When you ground your feet, you channel the heavens. When you visualize light, your neurons listen and obey. Whether you're visualizing a golden spiral rising through your spine, or a fountain of stars flowing from your heart, or even the quiet peace of a still lake reflecting your own presence, you're changing something. Because that's what transformation is. Not force, not effort, just alignment. And when you align, you shift. When you shift, you rise. When you rise, you lead. When you lead, you heal. There's no doubt anymore, because doubt cannot survive in a system wired for truth. Let's loop back and forward. Imagine this. You wake up, you stretch, you feel a vibration, maybe in your chest, maybe in your fingertips, maybe just beyond thought. And you smile because you know, without needing to explain, that energy is yours now. Your operating system is new. Your beliefs rewired for mastery. Your reality reshaped by rhythm. And if someone were to ask you how, you might just say, "I forgot the old me and remembered who I've always been." Now just notice what you notice, because something deep has shifted, something essential, not dramatic, not loud, but certain. And certainty is magnetic. And you're certainly magnetic now. Not because I said so, but because you know so. What you know becomes. What you becomes expands. What expands touches the world. So if energy is a language, then you're fluent. If energy is a flame, then you're fire. If energy is power, then you're its master and its mirror.